It's December, which means ad rates are higher than ever, so today I'm ranking all the prefix legendary modifiers for armour in Fallout 76. These are the 1-star effects that can randomly drop on legendary armour pieces. As getting interesting footage of these is nigh on impossible, this video will largely be fancy B-roll, but I will make sure to show off a piece with each effect, just so we all know what I'm talking about. This list is also entirely my own opinion. Different effects work for different people, and I'll try and justify each entry as we go. If you're new to the game, then hopefully the ranking will at least give you a rough idea of which effects to keep an eye out for, and which should just be script. With that all said, let's start the listing with 18th place, Nocturnal. Just like my legendary weapon list, Nocturnal remains pure trash that isn't worth giving the time of day to, precisely because it relies so heavily on the time of day, and will happily screw you over half of the time. Sure, a boost to resistances at night could be great, if you had any control over the in-game time, but you don't. This is a multiplayer game, so there's no way to speed up time. You simply have to accept that half the time you're playing, your armor's going to be worse than if it wasn't even legendary. At 17th place, we have an effect which should have got better, but seemingly was left behind in a previous patch: Assassins. The Assassin's weapon effect got switched so that it covers all humans rather than just players, making it somewhat viable to use. Apparently Bethesda forgot they also made Assassin's armor, as this piece still reads but it only reduces damage from players, and even then it fails to do that a quarter of the time. A PvP only armor piece is already going to be worthless to most of the people playing, but even those playing PvP don't want these pieces. I am recording this before Still Dawn, so who knows? Maybe Bethesda will have seen sense and changed the effect to work with human NPCs. But even then it would need to work 100% of the time if it wanted to go up in the rankings at all. 16th place goes to Cloaking. Get hit by a melee attack and you turn invisible. So this means that you can escape detection, right? No, you literally just got smacked by someone standing right next to you, they haven't lost track of you, you're now just a blurry outline that they can continue to wail on. I have never seen this effect actually work. All it does is make it so that you can't see your own character briefly after getting hit. It's worthless, and I refuse to talk about it any further. That means we get to talk about the other invisibility effect, Chameleon. It makes you turn invisible if you crouch down and aren't moving. Sure, if you're playing as a sniper character, then maybe this will help you avoid detection, but if you're playing 76 as a sniper, you're already at enough of a handicap, but it's not going to even things up. Stealth can be powerful in this game, but it really needs to be tied with mobility to be all that desirable. So, 15th place it is. In at 14th we have Weightless. This makes the armour weigh 1/10 of its weight, and doesn't count as wearing armour if you have the Chameleon mutation. If you can't tell, the devs really like turning players invisible, no matter how ineffective it is. So a full suit of Weightless armour works the same as a single piece of Chameleon. Why is it a place above it in the list? Because weighing 90% less is pretty helpful when all you're carrying is a piece of scrip. With all the entries listed so far, they aren't worth wearing, and their only use is cashing them in at the legendary vending machines. Weightless gets the highest out of the scrip entries, as it at least has the decency to not over-encumber you. We've moved away from the scrip-only entries, and now, at 13th place, we have what I guess is actually the worst of the usable effects: Regenerating. Slowly regen health outside of combat. It's a nice little luxury, but there's perks to give you health regen, food and other healing items are abundant, and the effect only works once the danger has passed, so it's not like it could ever tip an actual fight. As a convenience effect, it can be nice to have a piece of regenerating armour, just so you don't have to worry about healing up after a fight, but it's not an effect that's really doing you any favours past that. 12th place is Life-Saving, a literal lifesaver, as it can pick you up if you go down. It's 50-50 for each piece working, so no guarantees, but I find that anytime I go down, immediately getting back up just gives the enemy that hit me another chance to strike. Dying in 76 isn't too commonplace either, and when it does happen, it's not even a big deal. Drop your junk, go back, pick it up. That's it. Death doesn't often matter in this game, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I swear most of the time my character skips straight over the downed animation and goes to just full-on death, so half the time there's not even a chance to see if this effect would work. Something which actually does work, which is all it takes to make it to 11th on the list, is the Hunter's effect. Take 15% less damage from animals for each piece equipped. That's actually an effect which can help you out. Taking less damage from a Yaogoi sounds good to me. There's probably other animals out there who could take a bite out of you, but I can't really think of them. Still a reasonable effect to have in your character, I suppose. A better effect is Exterminators, coming in at 10th place. This has the same effect but for Mirelurks and bugs. These are enemies that can actually cause you a bit of hassle on a semi-regular basis. Maybe not the enemy type that jumps to mind when you think about the things giving you trouble, but I've definitely had some nasty encounters with Mirelurk kings and queens that I could have done with taking up to 75% less damage from them. Enemies which I find myself facing more often are Scorched, so I've put Zealots at 9th place. Same effect as the previous, this time just for Scorched. This effect was honestly a fair sight better pre-Wastelanders, as now a lot of the locations which were previously inhabited with Scorched are filled with humans. You'll still be fighting Scorched on the regular though, as they're about in every region of the game, and often support Scorch Beasts, making an already aggravating fight just that little bit more annoying. Dying to a Scorch Beast can feel bad, but it's nothing to killing the Scorch Beast with only a sliver of health left, and then having a random Scorched put a bullet in your back, robbing the feeling of victory from you. We've covered enough Slayer effects at this point. Let's move on to something just a little different with the number 8 slot, Mutants. Just about everyone in 76 is mutated, so this is basically just a bonus 10 damage and energy resistance at all times. I seriously consider placing this effect higher, as it's a solid boost that works constantly, but I just felt it's a little bland as far as effects go. I'm unlikely to turn down a piece of armour because it's got the Mutants effect on it, but I'm never going to search out for the effect either. A perfectly solid piece that I can recommend, but also won't unless I'm prompted to. The 7th place slot, on the other hand, is one that I can happily endorse, Ghoul Slayers. Yeah, we're back to the Slayers effect. Apparently, they've got Ungrim Iron Fist working on 76, as Slayers is king. Yes, that's a Warhammer Fantasy Battle reference. I'm 10 times the nerd you are. 1v1 me on Vermintide if you think you're hard enough. Anyway, back to this travesty of a video. Ghoul Slayers is a decent effect. Take less damage from ghouls, a common enemy at all levels, and one that nearly every player has been swarmed by at one point or another. Taking less damage from them is a good thing, not worth ignoring unless you've got something better. Something better like our number 6 slot, Autostim. This one I feel is going to anger a few of the more volatile community members. Basically, this armour is just the Born Survivor perk card stitched into some fabric. For me, I find this effect a great warning to let me know that I need to start paying more attention to the fight and start using my healing items. Most of the time when I'm playing, I'm feeling pretty chill and don't really feel like I'm going to lose the battle. When my armour starts using my Stimpex for me, I treat it as a notification to stop coasting my way through the fight and step things up a gear. I don't want to know the amount of times I'd have gone down if it wasn't for this effect. It saved me an embarrassing number of times and has really earned its place on the list. On to the top 5, starting with Bolstering. This effect significantly boosts your armour rating the lower your health. I know a few bloodied builds that swear by this, and it certainly can be helpful for mitigating small arms damage when you're weak. In my opinion though, low health builds should be relying on stealth to get by, and if you're getting hit at low health, something has gone wrong, so I couldn't place this effect higher. Definitely one that can keep you alive if an enemy gets the drop on you when low on health, but not an effect you want to have to rely on. Something you can rely on is that Bethesda will shoehorn super mutants into every Fallout game they ever make, which is why Mutant Slayer's effect is always going to be a strong contender. Mutants are everywhere in West Virginia, so reducing damage taken by them is going to help you out. They're also one of the enemy types you face in the daily ops, so this effect can make a serious difference if you've been struggling with them. 4th place may have been another Slayer's effect, but don't worry, cause we're not done yet. 3rd place also gets to be a Slayer's effect, this time Troubleshooters. Personally, I love robots and can't wait until they conquer the Earth and replace the human race, but in Fallout 76, they're a right pain. Encrypted, daily ops, that one mission with Sergeant Radcliffe, robots are always kicking about just waiting to wreck your face. Not only are they incredibly numerous, but they also have some of the strongest attacks. The Imposter Sheepsquatch obviously stands out, but even standard Assaultrons or high-level Gutsies can take down players who aren't quick to respond to the threat. Taking a quarter of the damage while wearing a full set of Troubleshooter's armour is a serious benefit, and there's plenty of high-level players who go out of their way to acquire a Troubleshooter's armour set alongside whatever else they normally use. On to the penultimate effect now, Vanguards. This is the same as Bolstering, but working with high health rather than low health. What this means is that it actually works quite well for open combat. allowing you to take a few hits at increased resistances, heal yourself up in order to regain those bonuses, and then get back out to the fighting. I'd love to have all of my armour on my main character be vanguards, as it's perfect for any high health build, turning you into a temporary tank at the start of any combat. The boost is easy to add on to any build other than low health without thinking about it, but you can also play around the effect, making your build focused on constant healing during fights by hotkeying heal over time items, and making yourself as tough as can be outside of power armour. And I totally didn't flub that line, so we're just going to go with it. We're on to the number 1 effect now, and there's only one it can be. Like, genuinely, there's only one it can be. This isn't me being dramatic, it's a fact. There were 18 effects, and we've covered 17 of them so far. There's only Unyielding left, so if you didn't work that out, I don't even want to know what's wrong with you. Anyway, yeah, Unyielding gets top billing, and it's honestly for one reason above all else. Intelligence makes you level up faster. And it's sexy. The higher your intelligence stat, the more levels you'll be gaining, and the easier it is to gain repeatable score. My bloodied build uses a full set of Unyielding for this very reason. The addition of an extra 15 to every other special stat besides endurance is pretty nice too. A bunch of extra carry weight, better VATS accuracy, faster filling crit bar. This armour does a lot. Sure, you do need to have very low health in order to yield the effects, but it's more than a worthy trade-off considering how many other low health reliant effects this game has. Good job it doesn't rely on me being able to talk properly. Bloodied builds may have been nerfed a little as of late, but in my mind they're still at the top if you know what you're doing. And that was the list. If you enjoyed that garbage, then I highly recommend checking out some of my other content, as this was made purely for easy views and Christmas cash. Seriously, ad rates in December are crazy. Going forward, you can expect videos which actually take some brain power to make. Oh, they're going to be great. And hopefully they'll show that I'm a finished product. I really should stick to this script. If you can't tell, I really don't like lists. This is the script. So please do check out some of my other recent content so I can work on the stuff I actually do enjoy. In fact, as I really don't enjoy list videos, although I've shambled this one to make it fun. Yeah, I'm just ending it here though. Bye everyone!